Welcome to episode 21 of the Rebel Army podcast, the official podcast of Cork City Football Club. And this week, we have one of the most talked about players in Europe as Jacob Bryan joins us for a chat. Welcome back to another episode of the Rebel Army podcast, joined as always by Mr. Howie. How are you?
Not too bad now, Stephen. How are you?
Good. We got back to winning ways after mid-season break.
We did, yeah. Brilliant, wasn't it?
That was fantastic. 1-0. But I think the big hero was Brad at the end, was he not?
Oh, my God. Incredible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? The lads on commentary, Derek Collin was on commentary, and himself and Rory actually gave the man of the match award to Greg Bulger, who did have a brilliant game.
Oh, he had a brilliant game.
But probably might have made that decision a bit too early with the saves that followed from Brad. Match-winning saves, really.
Unbelievable saves.
One of them earlier on in the game, you know, the header from close range, and Rory actually said on commentary, "Oh, there's the equaliser." Wait, no, there's not. Yeah, and he said himself, that's what you get for doubting Brad Wade.
And that one at the end as well, I thought that was going in as well, and he just got his hand
incredible,
to it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It was one of the best goalkeeping performances probably ever seen at the Cross, maybe.
Yeah. No, good performance overall. I mean, Bray put it up to us.
They did, yeah. They were up for it, to be fair, yeah. First half wasn't probably the most entertaining 45 minutes of football, but it definitely came to life a bit in the second half. And to be fair to Bray, like, we'd played them, that was the third meeting this year, the one up in Bray. I think we were 2-0 up inside 10 minutes, so that was kind of dead in the water early on. Earlier on in the season, I think, was actually quite a good game at the Cross as well, if I'm remembering that correctly. But no, they were well up for it, to be fair. I know they'd improved in the couple of weeks since we'd played them last. And they definitely looked like a better side. They've had a change in management as well recently, so it's, you're always that bit fresher, the bounce, when
that always happens.
The new management team came in. Yeah, but no, they were good, to be fair.
I suppose the other big thing there was Malik got his first start of the season.
Brilliant to see as well, wasn't it?
He looked fresh and looked good on the ball as well. And I think the crowd were delighted to see Cahill back in the second half as well after his injury there before the break.
That was class as well. Cahill had started the season so well, obviously, like everyone was talking about him. And
he's so keen. When he gets the ball, he's just like, runs out everywhere. And in many ways, when I see him coming on, and people talk about his age, but then you look at like Yamal playing for Spain in the European Championship is 16. There's a lot of young players in Europe at the moment.
If you're good enough, you're old enough, that kind of way.
And he definitely, Tim said that at the start of the season, the very first podcast we had. Yeah. That's what he said, look out for this guy. And it was brilliant to see him back.
We saw it in pre-season. I know they weren't streamed or anything, and there wasn't much footage, but you could tell he scored against Pats up there in pre-season. Started the season really well, and even when he came back, he's been out now for a couple of weeks. He came back on Friday and straight away wanted to get involved, and you could, like, it's just, he's having a player like him is brilliant, and he's exciting for not just young fans but every fan at Turner's Cross. I think everyone enjoys watching him, and
bit of a fan favourite. Right.
There's always kids and older supporters as well waiting outside at the back of the shed on a Friday night for a picture or an autograph from him. So he's just one of those players, I think.
They get very excited. I think a lot of people got excited too on Friday. I think they thought we had a new signing there. Colin O'Sullivan was kind of unveiling a new signing, and then I realised, no, it's just a music pop star wearing a Cork City jersey, Keane the Crow.
Yeah, there was a few messages about that actually. Yeah, he obviously had a sold out gig there over in Virgin Media Park,
across the road. We could hear him at the end of the game.
As great as it is to see a Cork man do well and a Cork man to sell out a show in Cork.
Yeah.
Why he was on the same night of a Cork City game? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we were saying, look, the least we'll do now is send down a jersey and he can pose for a picture with it.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
So I know that the crowd probably took a dip on Friday, coming back from the mid-season break. You would have expected more, but a lot was on.
There might be a few Swifties as well in the city.
Probably, up in Dublin, yeah.
Dented, I'd say there's a lot more Swifties than we know.
Maybe, yeah. Closet Swifties there after going up in their Cork City jerseys maybe to the Aviva. But there was a brilliant crowd over there. It affected our crowd, but look, it was brilliant to see, and hopefully now, I think the concerts are finished now.
Yeah, I did think there was about 15,000 over there. That has to have an impact.
Oh, it definitely did. Like, look, there was a lot of people I know that were there that ordinarily would have been at Turner's Cross, so that explains that. Turner's Cross as well, there was a bit of feedback that the area was just so busy, and again, because it was a Cork concert, there was a lot of extra security, a lot of extra people there, so Turner's Cross as a whole was just very busy, and I heard of a lot of people who arrived kind of 7:30 like they usually do, couldn't get into where they wanted to park, couldn't go anywhere, so they just went home again, which is disappointing. But again, the night that was in it, it's kind of understandable. Like I was at Turner's Cross early,
Yeah.
And there was a lot of closures already, like, so it was.
I knew there was going.
Hectic.
I didn't do my usual route, like, but I went the other way, and then I was still blocked off down by Derrynane and Derrynane Road and all that area.
There was closures everywhere. There was closures a lot further than you'd expect.
Yeah.
So look, it did. There's no point trying to say it didn't affect the attendance. It did. It obviously did. But look, we still had over 2,000 there.
Yeah, still
good crowd.
I think we might have mentioned that last week, but I saw, was it 996 is the average for the First Division this season? For the first half, the League of Ireland brought out attendance figures. No, the Premier Division is up. The First Division is down because they said Galway and Waterford were gone.
Yeah, we're probably pulling that up a good bit, I'd imagine.
If we were gone out of the league.
Yeah, but look, I remember a couple of years ago there was some clubs getting 200-300 at games. Like there hasn't typically been that support for the First Division, which there is now. It's great. There has been the last couple of years.
Danny Murphy made the point that our women's team get more supporter than one or two First Division teams.
They 100% they do. Yeah. And even in terms of the women's Premier Division, like Galway obviously set the record a couple of weeks ago. They obliterated the record, to be honest with you. I think it was 2,800. They gave away free tickets. They invited them all in, but like they haven't sustained. Like the next game was right back down to a couple of hundred. And in terms of consistency, we're leading the way in the women's league as well, I would say. I think Murph said similar, if not exactly.
Definitely,
like our women's games, there's probably a similar crowd, if not more, than some of the other First Division clubs. But yeah, look, at First Division again, if we weren't there, that average would be a lot lower.
You can only double it by going up to the Premier Division alone, just because you get the people who are into football start coming along.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%.
That's
yeah,
what
and
happens.
Look, again, we spoke about it before, but in terms of the opposition and the matches that people want to see, there's a lot more of those in the Premier Division, and that's just the way it is. It's not trying to disrespect any First Division clubs, but it's just the way the world like.
If you push Shamrock Rovers, Bows, Pats, like people get excited about Team Derry. People get excited about teams like that. Like
exactly, yeah.
So it's no different to any other league in the world.
Exactly, yeah, and hopefully, look, that'll be the situation next year again.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Speaking of the women, though, tough weekend again.
Yeah, 2-0 defeat in Wexford. 0-0 at half time, and then it was kind of a couple of minutes.
That was the first league match in a while, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, we spoke about it when Danny was here. I think we spoke about it with Colleen and probably between ourselves as well. Like,
it's very
there's been such a stop-start nature the last couple of weeks between international breaks, mid-season break. There's 11 teams in the women's league, so someone has to be idle every week, and we were idle recently. So, like, you can't really get consistency going because you've obviously got, with all these breaks, players go away as they're entitled to, and then training gets messed up because people are away, and there's just no consistency at all over that couple of weeks. And then you go back into a league game against Wexford, who are a good team, a very good team, and then next week we have Peamount, so you're kind of thrown in at the deep end with two very difficult away games. But yeah, it was 0-0 at half time. I think Wexford scored in the 51st and 52nd minute, so two disappointing, a little disappointing period there. Goals that I wasn't actually at the game myself, but goals that probably could have been dealt with a bit better. But I think overall, no one was really enthused with it. But look, again, it's not to be making excuses and all that crap, but look, the breaks and the stop-start nature, you can't do much with it,
no.
Unfortunately, but that's how it is. And look, we're back. We mentioned it. The league is back now. The breaks for now have finished. Peamount away at the weekend and back at Turner's Cross then after that. So I'll be able to get a bit of a run going again, hopefully.
Fingers crossed. How did the academy teams do over the weekend?
Yeah, everyone was in action. First time in a while. So the under-20s drew 0-0 away to Kerry. The women's under-19s lost 3-1 away to CK United. A 4-1 win for the men's under-17s then away to Kerry. Chris Harrington got the 2 goals. Ben Dummigan got 1, and there was an own goal as well from a Kerry player. Women's under-17s, 3-2 win over Waterford. Phoebe O'Shea, Amy McCarthy and Kate Mulcahy with the goals in that. Men's under-15s lost 3-2 to Galway United. Jamie Nduba and Killian Murphy got the 2 City goals in that one. And then the men's under-14s won 3-1 away to Waterford. Alex Wilson, Dara Corcoran and Tristan O'Driscoll got those goals.
Did I see there was a couple of trialists playing with the under-20s as well the other day?
There was, yeah, and there was a couple of comments online about how are we allowed to do that. I think it actually is a case of the 2020s, the under-20s sort of double as nearly a place for first team players that are coming back to get minutes and stuff like that.
They can go in there, can they?
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times this year. Dara Crowley's played, Conor Drynan's played a few, Malik played the last couple of weeks with under-20s. And you can actually play trialists. You can play a number of overage players. I don't know what the exact rule is, but you can play trialists as well. And there was a trialist playing at the weekend.
Potential new player for this first team squad?
Possibly, yeah. Do you know what? I wasn't there. I said I missed the women's game. I actually missed everything on Saturday, so I wasn't there. I don't know who the trialist was.
Interesting.
I don't know what the story is, if he's coming in or what, but it's good to see that is happening. That trialists are getting obviously involved and
is the transfer window open for us now?
Yeah, 1st of July.
1st of July,
yesterday, yeah. You see some of the other clubs have been doing business in the Premier Division. A couple of club players actually swapping clubs in the Premier Division, which always adds a bit of drama. There was a guy, I don't know his name, but a Galway player who refused a new contract and said he would leave, and they announced that he left, and then a couple of hours later signed for Pats. So that always adds a bit of drama.
Yeah.
But I know the window's open, so I don't know. Look, I'm not privy to any inside info, so I don't know what's coming. Anyway. I can imagine how that went down. Yeah, I can imagine how that went down. But hopefully now we'll see a bit of business. I know Danny's working on one or two, so we'll have. He mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, but I think we'll have an announcement tomorrow.
Excellent.
Today, by the time this comes out, maybe, I don't know, Wednesday or Thursday, hopefully. But business is being done anyway.
Speaking of transfers, we're privileged to have a guest in the studio this week that is one of the most talked about Irish people, definitely.
100% in a long time, I think.
Yeah, in terms of the amount of clubs it's been in a while now since I've seen an Irish player being linked with that many.
Evan Ferguson is probably the only other comparable
and even at that, one. I don't think anyone believed Brighton would sell him straight away. So I think this is very different. Only on Saturday night, Fabrizio Romano tweeted about this guy. And,
here we go, but just a rumour.
No, he just said a rumour, but you know that that could be age and snow or whatever, I don't know.
Feeding information.
It's always the way. Yeah, so I suppose we bring him in. He's outside. I hope he fits into the studio.
It's quite a small room, isn't it?
Quite a small room. I think Dan Murray tested it for him a few weeks ago, but he's even taller again, I'd say.
He is, yeah. He's grown a bit since he was here. He was big when he was here, but he's grown a bit again since he was here.
So I think we better bring in Jake O'Brien. Welcome to the podcast, Jake.
Thank you, pleasure.
Back in Cork, what a season. Crazy times, I'd say, for you. Cup final, scoring the first probably Irish player to score in a Continental Cup final, I think, since 2007 or something. I think it was a guy called Dominic Foley. Getting your first Irish debut, mad.
Yeah, it's been a mad season, I suppose, up and down. First 6 months weren't great, but then we turned things around, and then, I suppose the last 6 months were very good personally and as a team.
Take me back. Obviously, this is a Cork City podcast. I'm going to go further back than that. You started your football life with Youghal, was it?
In Youghal, yeah. It was my first club growing up. Then I would have moved to Lakewood for 2 years.
Close to where we are here, actually. Very close.
And then Corinthians for 6 months before joining Cork City under 17.
But you played a number of sports when you were younger. You were in boxing and GA and stuff like that as well.
Yeah. So hurling, football, soccer, and then boxing as well, yeah. So played them all.
And did there come a time where you had to say, I have to just pick soccer over the others, or?
Yeah, maybe I say around the age of 15, I kind of just chose football because I was training 2 or 3 times a day, and it was just getting too much for my body, I suppose, and just it was probably too much trying to juggle the training sessions and matches, and then it just came a point where I had to make a decision, really.
How come you left Youghal then to come up to the teams in the city at the time? Because that was a bit of a commute for you, I'd say, was it?
Yeah, no, I'm best mates with Tariq, who was at Lakewood at the time. And
Tariq that went to Villa and stuff.
Yeah. And I think it's just because, I suppose at the time they're playing in the Premier Leagues, and Youghal at the time we were playing 4th, 5th division, and I just wanted to, I suppose, try playing a season or two in the Premier Division with, I suppose, Tariq and a few of the lads I used to play with for Cork Schoolboys League. So in the summer it just came about, and I made the move up.
And then off to Corinthians for just a short period of time.
Just for 6 months, yeah.
Because there was no under 13s and or under 14s and under 15s and stuff with City at the time. So there was no opportunity, was there?
No, I think under 17 was the
start,
the youngest age, at the time. Before, I suppose it was 2 years later they started doing the younger age systems and stuff. So
you went in. Who was your coach for the under 17s of City?
Brendan, yeah, he was my coach. So I think you just do. There's a handful of players picked for trials. Play 2 matches or something, and then he picks the squad. And I got picked, and was exciting times then, I suppose, getting picked because it was the next big step.
And then you kind of had 2 or 3 years before you broke into the senior team. That was under Neil Fenn, was it?
Neil Fenn would have been my first one, yeah. Up in Derry.
Yeah.
Before the end of the season, I made my debut up there. I think we lost, was it 3 or 4-0, so it wasn't a great
season,
no.
Yeah.
No, but I suppose it was a proud moment, really, just making my first start and getting off the mark, really.
Like you were young enough at the time, but you were going into a team, a lot of experienced individuals. Anyone stood out to you from that team?
At Cork City at the time?
Yeah.
You had McCarthy, Lyon McLaughlin would have been there as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, Garrett Morrissey would have been captain, so he would have been a great player as well. But we had an all-round good team, I think, at the start anyway. Before, obviously, went into a difficult season when we got relegated.
And you kind of came back into the team then the following season in the 2020 kind of season, which unfortunately for you didn't get to play in front of crowds, did you, because of COVID?
No, I saw it was more so the last 6 months of the season that I played, and there was no fans.
That was when it was just on the TV, only,
nothing. So there was no atmosphere, nothing. So I suppose it was difficult and it was different to what it is now, but it is what it is, and I suppose we got relegated that season as well, so it made it even tougher. So
it's a pity for the City fans, actually, because they never got to witness you playing in Turner's Cross, like one of their own that has now kind of gone on, to play for Ireland now and, playing Lyon. That, during that COVID period, you played, I think, 7 matches in that second season or something like that. It was around that, towards the back end of the season.
Yeah.
When Colin came in, was it?
Colin, yeah. So Colin would have been manager for most of it. Towards the end, but I would have had him under 19s in the academy as well, so
he knew you well,
we knew each other well, and no, he's a really good coach, and I still speak to him now. So he had me for the last 10 games, but I suppose it was very difficult, and I didn't get to play in front of the fans either. So,
and you were there when they got relegated. No, obviously you were kind of new into the team, but was that a good experience in many ways for kind of building up resilience for you, later in your career to kind of experience that moment?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as I said, it wasn't a good moment, but it was experience that I got from it, really, from being in that situation. I suppose a dogfight and having, I suppose, bad matches and losing matches, but then it's something that you can learn from as well going forward. So no, it's definitely.
Because you were only about 18, 19 at the time, was it?
Yeah, 18, I think I was.
Yeah.
So young for a defender as well to be playing in a relegation scrap. But no, it's definitely a lot of experience that I would have got from it.
So then Palace came about. Was it initially, it was a loan period to start with? I'd imagine that's kind of like a trial, is it?
Kind of, yeah. So I would have joined the academy, so it was in January, February time, and I went over on a loan to buy. And then after, was it 4 weeks, they opted to buy me straight away. But even over there, it was during the COVID period.
Yeah.
So everyone was kind of in lockdown still over there, so it was tough that way as well.
It was kind of like the exact same scenario as what was happening with City, but just on a bigger scale, probably with Palace even.
Yeah, not even that, because I mean, in academy games, there's not really much of an atmosphere. So in Cork City, you'd have a much more.
Would they not get crowds for the academy matches?
No, not really. No, it'd be mostly just parents or scouts or whatever. But the atmospheres in Cork City would have been much better.
And compared to the City academy, because I know obviously you played with the men's first team with City towards the back end, but you would have been mainly with the under-19s and stuff. Yeah. Was there a huge gap between, let's say, City's academy and Palace's academy when you went over?
I think the biggest step would have been just because it's a full-time environment. You're playing every day, training in the gym, and it's just the facilities, I suppose, is the big thing. But in saying that, the under-19s team at Cork City did have very good players.
Yeah,
that could make the step, but I suppose it's just about getting the opportunity. I think the biggest step is from academy to first team. A lot of players you see kind of struggle to make that step. You see them in academies and they fall away, and you just don't hear about them again, really.
And that happens everywhere. It's not just exclusive to Ireland. I'd say the majority of the players don't actually make it, I'd imagine, over places like Palace and other Premier League clubs.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think sometimes you're even better off playing first team in the League of Ireland. It's a much more better experience than playing in academies in England. It's just for me, it was just about developing more over there and learning things to go forward in, really. But you could do that here in the League of Ireland and the first teams as well.
But was there a kind of one or two Irish coaches with Palace at the time in the under 21s? Paddy McCarthy or something.
Paddy McCarthy was the under 18s when I first went over, and Stephen Rice would have been in the setup for the 23s. So Stephen Rice that kind of got me over, got me, I suppose, in the door really. And then the next year, Paddy McCarthy would have became the manager, who's the assistant in the Ireland team now, and Stephen Rice is in the setup too as the head analysis. But
up to this stage, you didn't play with the under 19s or under 18s, the Irish squad, or under 16s. No. So you're like a late developer.
Yeah.
Which is brilliant, like in many ways, because people think, oh, if I don't make it at that age, like I'm sure there's probably footballers listening to this thinking, I've never got called up to the Irish squad at 16, 17, 18. I'm not going to ever get, make it. But you've proven them wrong.
Yeah, no, I was a late developer. I think when I was growing up, I seen a lot of players move over 15, 16, and then they move back 2 years later because they're homesick or they just can't hack it really. So for me, it was about being patient, and when the moment came, just to take it really, because it was a better time for me to move over at that age, because I probably wouldn't have been ready 15, 16. I had a lot more development to do on the pitch and then physically as well.
And were you finished your leaving cert and all that at that stage?
Yeah. So I would have had the predicted grades at the time, yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course. You had the COVID,
yeah. So I didn't technically do it, yeah.
Yeah, but how bad? Yeah. At least you still have the piece of paper. If it never worked out, you don't have to worry about it now. But like that was the fallback. Whereas a lot of players back in the day, they didn't have that.
Yeah, a lot of players go over, don't do the leaving cert, and then come back and then
try and do it.
Yeah, try to do it then again, but it's not the same really, is it?
I'd imagine at Palace as well, there was probably a lot of international players in the academy setup. Is there, like, especially when you get to 18, I know Briggs kind of does a challenge there, but I'd imagine a lot come in then, do they?
Yeah, no, there would have been a lot move over, I suppose, 18, and then there's a lot of English lads that have Irish grandparents or whatever, so they play for Ireland, but they're actually, I suppose, technically Irish.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I would have had Teo over there in the setup, so he's underage Ireland. There was a few more. Obviously, Killian Phillips moved over as well from playing at Drogheda. But no, there's a few more that play for the Ireland setup over there at all the academies, really.
But Palace are a club that, a lot of their academy end up actually into their first team. Not the same couldn't be said for every Premier League team, but they would be one of the good ones. Over the last couple of years, they've had a lot of good young players come through.
Yeah, you could say they gave a few players a chance, really, but it's difficult to get that chance, really. A lot of academy players don't make it out at all. There might be one or two every 3 or 4 years, and I suppose, Palace, you would have Tariq Mitchell or Bizaka that kind of made it through, but I suppose a lot of them move on to other clubs, lower league clubs, or else move elsewhere and make it in a different way.
And you had to go to a lower league club on loan. So you went to Swindon. What was that like? Because
Swindon,
they were a big enough club. Like, I mean, I remember them when they were in the Premier League years ago, but like then they dropped down over the years. But League Two.
Yeah, so that was my first loan move. First, I suppose, not full season, 6 months in the first team setup. It was a very physical league, really. Tough league, different types of football there from every team, really. And
as a young centre-back, that's quite tricky. I'd say it'd be kind of tough centre-forwards, kind of trying to put you off your game a bit, I'd say.
Yeah, sometimes it could be more difficult than playing in a higher league just because of the way they play, and it just makes it, I suppose, so physical at a young age, playing against big strikers. And no, it was a difficult league, I must say, and I suppose it didn't really suit my style either, playing in that league.
But like, when you compare it to League of Ireland, is it similar? Because people often wonder where does the League of Ireland sit in the English pyramid? If it was the same, would it be kind of around that level?
Yeah, it's difficult to say. I know some clubs would do good in the league because there's a big difference in, I suppose, the top clubs in the league and then the ones that kind of drop off, and there's a lot of different styles of play.
Yeah,
some teams don't play at all, and some teams try to play.
Like in recent years, there's probably a lot of spotlight with like Wrexham and all them being in.
Yeah. I think the big one, I suppose, is they just have more monies in them leagues, even in National League. You're seeing clubs that are offering wages that are stupid for that level, really, and that's the big thing, I think.
But you got to the playoffs that time. Did you? But you got beaten in the semi-final or something, was it?
Yeah, we got beaten in the semi-final of the playoff. I think it was to Port Vale in penalties. So yeah, I think at the time we probably should have won it. We had the best team, but we just, I suppose, the last few games we didn't put it together and win it.
So the trial period or the loan period comes to an end. Then you go back to Palace. Like, was it straight away decided that you were going to Belgium? Like, or what happens there? Or do you do pre-season with Palace, or what happens?
Yeah, I did pre-season with the first team, and then I knew I needed to go another season on loan to kind of push my way in, and I had a few clubs interested, but when the Belgian one came about, it was I suppose at the time I didn't really. I had to look into it more because I wasn't jumping at it because it was something different in a new country, new culture. But I looked into it, went over to have a look at the club and the facilities, spoke with the manager, and thought, why not try something new, new experience, and knew that if I played well in that league, there'd be big opportunities just because it's central to Europe, and a lot of clubs come to watch these type of games as well.
And there's a few Irish players go off to Belgium. I think Matty Healy's over there, like, isn't he?
Yeah.
And like, so like their second division. How many leagues would they have in Belgium?
I think I'm not sure how many, but there's definitely 3 or 4 anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we played in the second division. You'd have even some Anderlecht Academy and stuff were in it. So you'd have some.
Oh, it's like the Spanish system where they're
yeah. There'd be some young players, but then they'd be mixed in with some teams that would be full first teams as well. So it's a league that does try to play, and it's not as bad as it looks on paper. Like at the start, I was thinking it's the second division of Belgium, but it surprised me in the level and the players I came up against. So yeah, no, something that I think some players should try their hand in, really.
What are the crowds like there?
It's a lot different for some clubs. You'd have decent crowds, and then some it'd be like an academy game, really. But from Molenbeek, they had a decent crowd, and the fans are really good.
And like, did they take to you fairly quick? Like,
yeah. No, the fans just loved, I suppose, passion and people that wanted to play for the badge, really. And now they took to me straight away, so I was grateful for that. And no, they helped me settle in, and they were really good fans.
Do you win the league that year, the second division?
Yeah, no, we won it. Yeah, so it was kind of head to head with another club, and in the end, I think it came out the last 2 games, and we won it.
That's fantastic, because they ended up with really good, strong teams in the Premier Division now the next season. And did they try and hold on to you?
Yeah, there was a few conversations, but I knew it wasn't going to be something that I was going to do. Even when I went to Lyon, it was a conversation of signing and maybe going on loan there. But to be honest, it wasn't something that I was looking at doing and going back there. I knew once I signed at Lyon that if I got my chance, I'd stay there.
So you went back to Palace. You were probably after being called up to the under-21 to this stage now, as well, while you were in Belgium.
For
the Irish under-21s.
Yeah, I would have played Irish 21s when I was at Swindon as well.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I would have finished after Belgium. I would have finished with the 21s. And then when I went back to Palace, went with the first team on pre-season to America. And I suppose they wanted to sign me, give me a new contract, but it wasn't something I was interested in, just because I think I needed to move on for my personal development and look at other clubs. And when Lyon came about, it was a no-brainer.
A lot of people would jump at the chance, though, to sign a deal though with a Premier League club, like, wouldn't they?
They would, but I suppose you got to look at yourself and where you fit in, and the players there and the manager there. And I just didn't think I fitted the system, and the way they were moving forward, it wasn't something that I was interested in. And
was it the year's experience in Belgium kind of said, you know what, Europe's a big place, I wouldn't mind trying another league somewhere I feel comfortable?
Yeah. No, I thought, why not? I had a good season in Belgium. The culture was fine. I didn't really find it too difficult living away. So there was a lot of European clubs looking as well, and I thought it suits this style of football that I like to play on the floor, and good football. So I think in the summer I just weighed up my options, and Lyon was the best move for me.
So you went to Lyon. Laurent Blanc was the manager initially when you went.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, World Cup winner, centre back, one of the famous French centre backs. Like, did he have any advice for you, like, when you came into the club?
He was, I suppose, really calm. He didn't say too much, but he was, I suppose, he was a really good player back in his time, and he did give me advice in training, and I kind of came in when the season just started, so I knew I wouldn't start straight away, and I needed to show that I could play. But before I knew it, was 2 or 3 weeks later, and he was gone, really. So, but yeah, I stayed on and waited for the next manager. So.
Am I right in saying you had 3 different managers in the one season?
Yeah.
That's very unusual. Like, what? Like, it's just a bit of turmoil at the club?
Yeah.
Or?
You could even say 4, because we had an interim that was kind of just filling in, so 4 maybe. The first 6 months, it just, I suppose, a lot of ups and downs and a lot of change in the club because there's a new owner and there's a lot, I suppose, big changes really, not just on the pitch, but outside the pitches as well. And I needed a bit of time for it to gel.
So it took probably up until about Christmas and it started to kind of settle then.
Yeah.
Because at the start of the season, you were kind of struggling a bit, but you got a bit of momentum then in the back end of the season.
Yeah, no, it was strange. We were very unlucky in games in terms of not winning and very soft goals and whatever, but it didn't make sense at the same time because we had a better team than most teams we've played and played better football, but we just conceded goals that were very sloppy or unlucky, and then all the luck just went against us really. We couldn't score. So yeah, everything that could have went wrong in the first 5-6 months.
But like, as a fella from Cork, like, you know, growing up in Lyon, like, you obviously watch some of these players on TV and stuff. What is it like then all of a sudden to be on the same pitch as Lacazette and Matic and stuff like that, who would be famous, like internationals, won league titles and stuff? You know, what was that like?
Yeah, no, it was great. They've a lot of experience. They've played at the top level for many years, won big competitions and tournaments. So no, it's great to share the pitch with them, and I think in training you learn from them, speak to them, and you become a better player. Train with them every day because they're obviously top players and they've done it for years. So I think it's just about talking to them and learning from them.
And like as you started getting a run of games, kind of around December, January, did you feel like I'm kind of in here now, like this is my team, like felt comfortable?
Yeah, I got my first start, I think it was in October, and I felt after the first few games that the more I played, the more confident I was getting in the team, and it's just about trying to figure out the way all the players play that are with me and gelling with them. And then I suppose, come January, we started to put wins together, and I kind of just started looking upwards from there, really.
How did it feel when the likes of L'Equipe and stuff like that were putting you in team of the week and you were getting lots of like love back home? Because I don't know whether you knew this or not, but a lot of the Irish media were sharing what they were putting up and saying like, look, there's an Irish player getting a lot of attention here. Yeah,
no, it was great. I've seen a lot of it coming from back home. It's great to get that exposure. I think a lot of Irish fans loved it just because it was something different to the usual.
Yeah.
In a different league in France, in a big club like Lyon, and I suppose, as I said, it's just a different thing to see than in, I suppose, the Premier League and Championship, to see a player in League One.
And I say a lot, like some City fans listen to this might realise like how big Lyon is. Like the club is one of the biggest teams in France, like, isn't it?
Yeah, like, it definitely has one of the biggest histories, and I think as big as it is looking, I suppose, on the media, you need to go there to realise how big it is. The stadium, the fans, it's crazy, yeah.
And it wasn't that long ago. I think maybe going back to maybe 2019, they had a bit of a run in the Champions League as well, I think.
No,
they beat Barcelona or something.
Man City,
yeah. Yeah, Man City, wasn't
it? It was the quarterfinal, maybe.
That's right. Yeah. Because I remember being actually over there, and it was on in the bars, and they were away, and I was just like, the whole town was kind of like just watching it. Everyone was obsessed.
So they would have for many years, I suppose, challenged in the cups and Champions League. So next season we're in Europa League, but it's a team that should be challenging in the Champions League every season, so I don't think it'll be too long before they get back to that, really.
So tell me about the cup run, because like obviously you started the season, it took a while, change of manager is bound to happen, but then your current manager settles in, you do well in the league, but then the cup run must have been a nice bonus to kind of go through to get all the way to the final.
Yeah, no, it's a good bonus. I think when you play your first few games, it's against lower teams, but it's still difficult because it's in, I suppose, it's away in these kind of tough stadiums and pitches. But we picked up a few wins, and then before we know it, we're in the semi-final and the final against PSG.
So like you're lining up, and there's Mbappe at the other side.
Yeah.
Again, like, what's he like to mark?
No, he's no point saying he's not difficult. He's obviously one of the best in the world. It's got to be, I suppose, full focus on his movements. I think are what puts him up against any other player. He's very fast, so I think it's just about being concentrated for the full game and watch his movements, because if you switch off for a second, then he's in and goal.
He 2-1, but I mean the fact that you scored a goal, I said that was a great feeling.
It was, I suppose, a bittersweet moment. We were 2-0 down at the time, so
there was maybe a comeback on the cards.
Gave a bit more confidence, I suppose, to the team to try and nick another one, but I suppose it maybe came a bit too late, and obviously they're a really good team and they have a lot of good players, so it was difficult to try to come back from that.
And I see a video doing the rounds before the final where you got to meet the president, Macron.
Yeah. That was just before we came out. He met all the players in the tunnel. It was great to meet him. Obviously, the president of France. So, a great moment.
It's surreal moments, pinch me moments, I'd say.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know much about him other than he's I suppose, the president of France. But yeah, no, looking back on it, I suppose it's a bigger moment than I probably would have thought at the time. And
then I know you were called up to the Irish squad earlier this year. I think March was the first time you got called up, but you didn't get a game. You didn't get a run out. But John O'Shea then put you in, brought you on as a sub.
Yeah, no, I think at the start, I suppose it's difficult to get your first few minutes because it's your first camp. So I can't hold that against them.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a good season for me, so I would have liked to play in March. But I think it's just about being patient and waiting for your moment to come. And I suppose in the last 2 games, I got my first few minutes and then my first start as well.
What was it like to start? And obviously against Portugal as well, like cause, you're going from Mbappe to Ronaldo. And I think, am I right in saying that you were a United fan?
Yeah, I would have been, So obviously it was great to play against Ronaldo. Obviously I would have watched him growing up and he probably would have been my idol growing up as well. So yeah, I mean, it was great, but at the same time you're up against him, so you're trying your best not to leave him get chances, but at the end of the day he scored 2, so difficult game, yeah.
I don't think it was your fault. I was watching the game. I was, I'm not throwing anyone else under the bus, but like it was kind of. We had one or two of the other lads on a few weeks ago. I think Nathan Wood played against United. He was a United fan as well, and I was asking that question, like, what's it like when you play against people that you admire? You know, like, do you have to push that aside? You probably do.
Yeah, you don't think about it in the game. Yeah, you just think just like another player. Obviously, if anything, they're even better players. So you got to be more concentrated in the way they play because that's why they're so good. So no, you don't think about who they are really. It's just about what they can do and trying to prevent them doing it.
And in the French league, who, like, we all know Mbappe, but who are the other forwards that you'd say like people should keep an eye out for? Like these guys are top class as well. Like who are the people that you found tricky to play against this season?
I suppose the obvious ones would have been Aubameyang. I say Jonathan David at Lille,
who plays for Canada as well. Yeah.
Who else would have been? Rennes, they have a good young winger. But yeah, there's a lot of, I suppose, up and coming talent in the league that you'd see move on in a few years to even bigger clubs that you mightn't think about now, but they'll move on and do, I suppose, better things.
And the French league is renowned for that, isn't it? In terms of they seem to be always able to attract talent from around the world, good young players that then end up going on to other teams in Europe afterwards.
Yeah, no, you always see it. I suppose Doku would have been one.
Yeah.
I suppose not heard of at Rennes, and then now he's starting winger at Man City, but you always see it. There's always big players that come through the French league first before moving on to bigger clubs.
So I know, like, at the moment there's a lot of fuss around you, but do you have to just put that out of your mind and say, look, I'm just going back to Lyon?
Yeah, no, of course. I think it's just because I'm in the middle of the transfer window now, there's always going to be speculation and clubs interested, but I mean that's for agents and clubs to talk about. I just do my job, and that's going back and training and then seeing what happens from there.
But you must be excited about going into Europa League and stuff like that with Lyon. It's a different adventure for next season as well.
Yeah, obviously it's something different, something that I haven't done, and I suppose it's the next step, playing in a European competition. So yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
And I should have asked you when you did your leaving cert, did you do French?
No.
No,
I should have.
And how's your French now?
Not great. No.
But half your team will probably speak English anyway, do they?
Yeah, most of them speak English. I think there's only maybe 1 or 2 that don't, and that's probably because they're young.
Yeah.
And they're learning English as well. So in time, they'll all speak English. But a lot of them have played for maybe English clubs, or a lot of clubs in Europe speak English now. I suppose it's the international language. So, but I think in football you learn how to communicate, even if that's not speaking the same language.
So, like, you're going into a new season. You're now more of an established player. Like, are you hoping to kind of settle down with the Irish squad as well and get more call-ups and get more caps?
Yeah, definitely. I think looking to get more caps, more starts, and then I suppose the next thing is to try qualify for major tournaments. The World Cup's on in 2 years, so it'd be great if we could kick on and get qualified for that.
And we start against England in the Nations League as well in September. It'd be fantastic to play against England, I'd imagine.
Yeah, no, huge game, obviously, for obvious reasons, and it'll be great to get a win in that as well.
And there's a few Palace players playing with England. You might have probably played with one or two of them, did you?
Yeah, Mark Ebereze would have been the two ones that I would have played with. So, not the two big players and really talented players. So, yeah, no, they're doing really well now. So it'd be good to come up against them as well again.
And Gay's actually starting all the time for England as well. So, like, I mean, he would have been would he be in centre back pairing with you back in the the 23s or Premier League 2? Like,
no, he wouldn't have played 23s. He would have been transferred from Chelsea.
Oh, was he?
At the time, yeah. So
he goes straight into the first team.
He went straight into the first team, yeah. So he's a really talented player. Like, centre back partnership there would have been him and Anderson at Denmark. So obviously two really good players that were ahead of me.
Yeah.
They're two really good players, really.
And Anderson playing well for Denmark in the European Championship as well. Unlucky, actually, didn't
Yeah.
So, do you miss Cork? Did you ever get homesick? Actually, I know you've travelled around. You've gone to England. I've gone off to Belgium, gone to France. Yeah. Did you get homesick at all?
To be honest, no. I don't get homesick, but it's good to be back as well and to see everyone, family, friends, and just to, I suppose, be back in your surroundings. And yeah, just to, I suppose, back in the culture of Irish people. Really, it's good. But yeah, no, I don't get homesick. I like travelling around and seeing new things as well.
So you won't be afraid of playing anywhere in the world, really?
No, you can stick me anywhere, yeah, and I'll play there.
I saw that you were down watching your brother playing for Cove.
Yeah, no, I always keep an eye on him, yeah. I try to watch all his matches that are on the LOI channel as well, so...
Yeah, so, you're over in Lyon during the week, like, would you kind of keep in touch with what's happening back in Cork as well? Would you look at the media? Would you look at, socials or whatever to see what's happening over here?
Yeah, no, I'm always checking to see how Cork City are doing, how obviously Cove, my brother, are doing.
Yeah.
I try watching as much match as I can because I suppose I'd have a lot of free time in the evenings as well, so I nearly watch all the games really.
And like in terms of, you say with a lot of time in the evenings, I presume it's training 5 days a week, and like in the morning sessions, is it? And then break in the afternoons, is it?
Yeah, you'd be in about 8:30 and you'd be home by 2:30.
Yeah.
And just gym and training, eating, recovery. But it's the same schedule usually. Very few days off, maybe after a game the day after, but you don't get much time off. But I suppose, you have the evenings to chill out.
When you said the gym there, that time there, like if you could just rewind you back to your time with Cork City, the time of COVID, like a lot of people said that like you all of a sudden became this much bigger player, like, later in 2020. Did you bulk up a lot in the gym during that off period? Did you work on your personal fitness when there was that downtime, when there was no training?
I think there was about a year or two period where I was in the gym every day.
Yeah.
Back home, because my friend would own a gym and I would have had a lot of friends that were in that gym. So I was in there every day.
Down in
Youghal, yeah. Bulking up really, and I suppose in the 2-year period I put on maybe 40 kg.
Whoa.
So it was a big
difference for centre back, like.
Big increase in my weight, and that was probably one of the things that was missing growing up, was my physicality. So over that 2-year period when I put on the size, it kind of came together a bit faster, I think.
And was that a huge focus then when you went over to the likes of Palace and even with the likes of Lyon and stuff like that? Are they looking at that, like, how do we kind of get the most out of your physique and stuff like that?
Yeah, obviously I had the physicality going over there, and then it's just about developing, I suppose, more technically, and trying to put it all together. So I suppose all the experiences and clubs I've played with would have came together and helped me out in the ways they've played, and kind of made me the player I am now.
But going all the way back in your youth, with the likes of Youghal, the likes of Lakewood, Corinthians, did you always play back?
No.
Where did you play?
I actually didn't like playing in the back. I kind of played striker, midfield, and then if they asked me to go back, I wouldn't do it.
So is that where your ball skills come from? Because actually, you're well able to play out from the back now, because a lot of defenders struggle with that. Whereas it seems like you're very comfortable. I was watching against Portugal, know.
No, I suppose I'm a ball playing centre back, really. I like to get on the ball and make things happen. I'm not that no-nonsense defender. I like to, I suppose, start the attack. That would have been things I would have done growing up in Youghal, Lakewood, Corinthians, is playing in midfield. Being that player that kind of makes them passes, and then I suppose I changed position maybe 15, 16 years of age.
So a lot of the fellas that were probably played against, probably listening to this, is there any guys that you played against or with back then that you kind of think, they were superstars. I'm surprised they didn't. Is there any fellas that stand out in your mind?
There would have been a lot of players, that would have played growing up, and some I think I'll probably forget their names, but there was a lot of talent. And then I think it gets to the age of maybe 16, and some just go on to different things, maybe college or
distracted with life.
Yeah, just different things really. But yeah, there always is really a lot of talented players that play in Cork, and I think when they pick different futures, really, it's just they go different ways, really.
Like a lot of our academy players will probably listen to you, because you are setting a huge benchmark for them. I mean, to go from Cork City's academy to now, playing the cup final for Lyon, getting a senior caller for Ireland, they'll want to follow in your footsteps. Yeah. If there's a 17, 18-year-old, 16-year-old from the city's academy listening, what advice would you give them?
I think at that age, it's about just sticking at it, and I suppose trying to improve on everything, really, because at that age I wasn't like overhead and way better than all the players. I was kind of just, I suppose, in the mid-range and just kind of just in the team, really. Sometimes it didn't start, sometimes it started, but I think it's just about sticking at it, because a lot of players fade away and they don't stay motivated to be in the game, and then when your chance comes, just take it.
Would you tell them to kind of stick out, get the leaving done, get to 18 and then go, or would you think that's a better route?
I wouldn't be in no rush at all. I think just being patient, and when things are meant to be, they'll be.
Yeah, because sometimes there might be a fear that guys their own age in other, let's say 16, 17-year-olds in England or whatever, no, they can't join an English club until they're 18, but like even across Europe, that they might have an advantage. It hasn't been a disadvantage for you, like.
Everyone's different. Everyone develops at different ages, and even if you're 22, 23, you still have time to make it. Everyone's different and progresses at different stages in their career, and I suppose I was later on to the usual, but even later than me, you can still make it as well at a good level.
So what do you miss from Cork? Like, so when you're back over in Lyon that midweek, what are you missing? You'd wish you had?
Yeah, I suppose just the people, really.
Yeah,
just your friends, family, just being around, just being in the town where you're from, and there's always something to do as well.
And you over there by yourself, or is anyone with you?
No, Sophie's living with me, yeah.
So that's great that the two of you are together over in French City. So it's a great experience. And loads of people would dream of that kind of scenario.
Very lucky, because it's a really nice city. So it's not like I'm away in a French rural town. It's a really nice city and a lot of things to do. And whenever friends and family come over, they always compliment the city as well.
And do you get many people come off to watch your matches over?
A lot. Especially the last 6 months, there was every home game, there was someone over. Yeah.
That's it. But that must be brilliant. Like, it's probably tiring as well, trying to keep everyone entertained, but...
Yeah, no, I enjoy it, it keeps me going, really, and I suppose it's always a busy time, and when they come over, it's great. Just, I suppose, to show them around and show them the club. And
is there like a players' lounge or something like that where the family and friends can kind of go into when they come over?
Yeah, no, they can watch it from, I suppose, it's called the Brasserie Lounge, so they have free food, free drinks, and watch from
there. No wonder they're all queuing to go over.
Eating all the food and drinks, so they know when they're sure over.
And do they understand the Cork accent okay?
Probably not, no. They just nod and but they definitely don't understand this.
They're like, I thought he was Irish, I thought they speak English there.
Yeah, no, it's definitely difficult for them, I think, more so than us.
So, we usually finish the podcast with a couple of questions. I suppose, who was your favourite City player growing up? Even who would you have admired?
I suppose the ones that would have stuck out was Garrod Morrissey. Yeah, so I would have watched him growing up, and then to play with him, he was always the centre point to Cork City for me. Yeah.
You probably wanted to play a midfield with him, did you?
I wanted to, but it didn't work out that way.
It did drop back.
Yeah. No, he was a great player as well.
Any standout matches? I know you only played a few, or even as a supporter, watching City over the years.
Maybe the FAI Cup up in Aviva, wasn't it, when Sean Maguire scored?
Yeah, we had that, you were.
I wasn't at it, but I watched it, and
on TV.
Suppose, that was a good moment. Yeah.
And were you in the academy at that stage, or hoping to get into the academy at that stage?
So what year would that be?
So that was 2016, yeah.
So I probably would have been in the academy, would I?
Yeah.
Maybe under 17.
So to be kind of tuned in, You
tune in, yeah.
Saying,
either way, you hear about it,
yeah.
That's definitely I suppose when you're at that at that level, you want to push on and get in the first team as fast as you can.
So the last two questions: who's the best player you've ever played with so far? I know you've played with a good few at this stage. Anywhere, or you can name a few of them if you want.
Obviously, Lacazette would be an obvious one.
Yeah.
Palace, Zaha in training would have been very good.
Is he very good? Yeah.
Yeah. Maxence Caceres, really good, and I think technically Ryan Shirky would be probably the most technical player I've come up against, or in training, whatever. Yeah.
And who are the best players you played against?
I suppose Mbappe would be the obvious one, wouldn't it? Vitinha, I thought at PSG was very good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I thought he's underrated at PSG. He makes a lot of things happen, so he doesn't get talked about. Obviously, because it's a team full of superstars, but he was the player that stood out for me.
Listen, Jake, it's been fantastic to have you in. We wish you the best. We presume you're at Lyon. We know all the talk around you at the moment, but no matter where you are, we'll be keeping an eye on you at the club, and hopefully we'll see you back at Turner's Cross. Maybe we might play in the Europa League or something, or the Champions League at some stage, hopefully. That would be a dream scenario if you were back playing against us. But no, best of luck with the season ahead.
Well, thanks very much, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was, he's so laid back, isn't he?
Brilliant. Yeah, that's good to see as well that he
has no ego.
Calm. Yeah, no ego whatsoever. No, yeah, it's brilliant. What a player as well.
Unbelievable, like. Yeah, I didn't realise that in his early days he was more of a midfielder. I was thinking though, like, because his ball, like, his ability to pass the ball, like, people were saying
he's very comfortable. Like,
he's very comfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen him now with Lyon, seen him with the Irish team, like, well able.
Yeah, you could see it when he was with us. I know we were kind of joking about it there. Like, everyone, you love to be able to say, I saw him when he was at Cork City. Not many people did, because it was behind closed doors during COVID and stuff. But I was lucky enough to be there, or unlucky enough as that season transpired. But like, nothing really fazed him when he was playing for us. You always kind of knew he had the head on his shoulders. He could carry himself and kind of do well wherever he went, which he has done. And nice there, I thought, to hear him talking fondly about when he was in the academy and when he had Colin at the first team, but also at the 19s before that.
I know as a whole he looked up to players like Garrod Morrissey as well. I thought that was nice as well.
Yeah, nice to hear actually that he was his favourite City player. He's actually my favourite City player as well, Garrod. Yeah. But what a player he was. Club legend, like. But yeah, it's just nice there to sort of even just hear the difference between, he went from Youghal to London, Belgium, and now Lyon.
He's not afraid of a challenge.
He's not, and he said it like, stick him anywhere. He'll play anywhere, like, and that's brilliant to hear. You hear of everyone, it's almost a default.
Yeah,
I need to get to England. I need to get to Scotland. The world's very big, like, and Jake isn't afraid to go where he wants to go or go somewhere random, which is.
And people
brilliant.
Might be wondering there why we didn't say clubs or anything like that. The last thing I want to do is get the man in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we can talk about the speculation. He can't really.
We can talk about it.
But obviously, look, there's.
But like, journalists can do that kind of stuff on national radio. We're a club podcast. We have to look after our own former players as well and make sure they don't get in trouble.
Yeah, he's still one of our own.
Like, and he might play with Lyon this season. We don't know. There's probably a strong chance he'll move.
Yeah, well, look, we saw. You mentioned there the speculation online the last couple of days.
West Ham is a big rumour at the moment.
Yeah, Everton were rumoured. Atalanta were rumoured. Dortmund, Juventus at one point I saw.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is, like, you'd back him to succeed wherever he goes.
Would you?
Like, you wouldn't think it would faze him. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. I thought it was a really good chat. Just even the dynamic of, how he's sort of gone from. We were joking beforehand. I was chatting to him before we started recording about just how different it was. Like, I remember Jake did his first press conference in 2020, and it was me, him, a camera, and 2 or 3 journalists that came in, and I think we had to do it outside in the wind in the stand in Bishopstown because it was during COVID. And I was asking him about the media team in Lyon, and he was saying that there's like each player has a dedicated media person who looks after everything they do, and there's about 20 media guys. Saying the staff, like the match day staff, whatever, is about 700 or 800 people. It's a different world. Like, media team, we've got a handful of volunteers involved as well. They've got 20 paid staff just for escorting players to do media duties.
They're a big club, like.
That's insane. And I think people might actually forget at times how big Lyon is as a club and how much of an achievement it is for a Cork man, a young fella from Youghal to be pretty much the star of the show at Lyon this year.
Oh,
like they had an awful start to the season. It wasn't until he got a game and solidified himself in the team that they stabilised and had a really good season.
Like they brought in a lot of kind of big names, but a lot of them are at the latter end of their career, whereas he's at the start of his. You know, like I mentioned Lacazette.
You've got Matic, and
those
Lovren.
guys have been there, done that. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of going back to France to kind of wind down, I'd imagine, at this stage.
Whereas
he's only
the complete opposite. Yeah, he's probably even in some ways using it as a springboard to go on to bigger and better things again, hopefully.
But the way he even talked about Mbappe, like, oh yeah, you'd have to watch him. Like imagine, that's what I was getting. Like he was watching him on TV.
Yeah, or even as a Man United fan growing up.
Yeah.
Coming up, I was laughing. You asked him the best player he's ever played against, and he said, "I think the obvious one would be Mbappe." I was like, I don't think that's the obvious one. I think it's Ronaldo.
But I suppose maybe on the day.
Yeah, in the game, I suppose. Yeah. But
Ronaldo's days, you know, maybe his best days are behind him.
Saying that, he scored 2 goals against Ireland in the game they did play.
So, I don't think it was.
And Mbappe didn't score.
It
did
wasn't.
He score in that final? I can't remember.
It wasn't Jake's fault, though. I said that to him. Look,
you gave him the pass for that. Yeah, but
we won't name names, but there was other centre backs there I think caused that and that night against Ronaldo. But,
even in the cup final that he scored in, so calm. Like I'd imagine. It can be easy to sort of get sucked into the occasion and you score a cup final. Even though you're losing, it's still a big thing. Like, it didn't faze him. I mean, like, he just wanted to... You could tell he's a proper professional, like, which is brilliant. And he's kind of... He said it already, like, but you back him to succeed wherever he goes. He's got that attitude.
But, like, even there, like, I think, you know, I think Sophie, his girlfriend, they're chatting to her, like, I mean, they seem to have settled into life in Lyon quite well.
Yeah, they're enjoying it.
Maybe the fact that they're young, they're enjoying the experience of it, lovely city.
Yeah.
You know, and he's just, it's like home from home, like relaxed, you know.
Yeah. And it's interesting as well, the fact that he, like you asked him, does he get homesick? And he doesn't. Like he is so into the travelling side of it and the seeing the world side of it, which is good. Like he's enjoying life. You can tell he's enjoying life. Sophie's the same. They're really enjoying themselves and it's brilliant to see.
Because automatically you would think Irish footballers traditionally always went to the UK, like.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like obviously he did as well, but you know, see that you don't have to just go to the UK, or even you could go there and then move on.
But you look at Matthew Moore as well, that was with us, and he's gone to Hoffenheim in Germany. Like it's not the be all and end all. Look, if you get to the UK and make a career of it, great. And if you go over there and decide you don't like it and you leave and go somewhere else, that's great as well. Like Cathal Heffernan went to AC Milan.
Like.
Matthew went to Hoffenheim. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be more over the next couple of years, not just with us, but other clubs around the league. There's a whole world out there type thing, and people aren't kind of afraid to do it now, which is great.
Yeah, I know, it's exciting. Like, I think you kind of got the vibe, all right, that his future's kind of up in the air at the moment.
Yeah.
It is out of his hands, I'd say.
Yeah, look, he kind of said it there, and it's probably a bit of a cliche football answer where they just kind of go and do their job, and the agents and the management figure all that stuff out. But as cliche as it is, it probably is the case as well. Like, there's only so much he can do, really. Like, he just kind of has to go and do what he's paid to do. And whatever happens. But let's hope for him, as Cork City fans and people who got to see him as a young player and now go into what he is. If he stays at Lyon and does well, they've got Europa League this year. Brilliant. If he goes on, be it to the Bundesliga, Italy,
Serie A, whatever,
Premier League, even hopefully, brilliant. We'd be delighted, and I don't think anyone listening to this would be the same. Everyone would be the same as us. We all want to see him succeed, and we're excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, no, fantastic. No, it's brilliant. I don't think he'll get a chance to go down to the Cross to see the lads, because I think he has to go back to France for the weekend, I think. So
he'd been down in Cove. You mentioned that. He'd been down in Cove, yeah.
So to be fair to him, I mean, used to be a case where City and Ramblers played in different weekends, but it seems this year that the two of
them...
There's
a few clashes.
That was never the case before, but...
and even if they were on the same weekend, typically years ago, Ramblers used to play on a Saturday. So it wasn't much of a clash anyway. And look, his brother plays for Cove, so he's not going to. He can't choose us if they're at home. If they're away to Finn Harps or something, fair enough.
Yeah,
but he can't really choose us over his brother.
Yeah, no, and it was nice to hear that he listens to the podcast, because he was able to name back a couple of things there when we were talking to him off as well.
Yeah, he has, to be fair. Yeah, he said it to me even downstairs before we started recording, that he's listened to a few. So. He might have been. Remember, we were saying that we were in the charts in France.
Yeah,
there's our explanation.
It is no.
But we still need to find out the lads in Qatar.
They're the crowd sponsoring the European Championship, I'd say. They're looking to sponsor us next.
Anything at all. I'll send you my email.
Speaking of sponsorship, there was a golf classic this week, was there?
Yeah, the lads were down yesterday on Monday in Cork Golf Club.
Did the players take part as well?
There was a few players there, yeah. Doug, our photographer, sent me on the photo album this morning, so we'll have a few pictures up there now across the afternoon today and tomorrow.
Any of them any good?
Couldn't tell you, to be honest. I'll be honest now, I have less than zero interest in golf, so I don't even know what good is, to be honest with you. But Tim and Hamo and Richie were down there as well. And there was a few sponsors, supporters and stuff as well. Right. Brilliant to see, yeah. It seems to be successful from what I can see. So, yeah, look, brilliant. Good day out for them.
Yeah, no, it's all part of it. I mean, we were talking to Andrew Ryan about the comedy night last week. Tickets available for that. And of course, our own podcast.
Yeah. I think I said actually in the last one it was the 4th of September. It's the 5th of September.
It's a Thursday night, isn't it?
Thursday night, yeah.
So, yeah.
It's the night before we're away to UCD.
Yeah, and 2 nights. So the podcast is on the Thursday, UCD's away is on the Friday, and Ireland are playing England. So Jake will be playing against England, hopefully, on the Saturday in the Aviva.
Busy couple of days.
Busy couple of days. But, yeah, so that's coming up, and we will be announcing guests now in the next
we had a really good call and a good meeting about it the other day, actually. Yeah. So we've got...
some great ideas.
We won't give it... We'll give another week or two now before we talk too much, but from what we can see, that's going to be a very fun night.
Yeah, it's going to be a great night. And I mean, look, we're on, episode 21. It was nice that we actually got one of our most famous past players now at this stage.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, I mean, he's the one that getting the media attention. To have him as the number 21 guest is brilliant. But
in Cork at the minute, it's a bit like when Roy Keane went to Sunderland. You know, you'd see Sunderland jerseys everywhere. There's Lyon jerseys everywhere now.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It's funny, but that happens. Like, yeah.
It's brilliant. We're very tribal. You know, like a Cork person does well, we'll support that Cork person.
Yeah, no matter what they play for or what they do. But we're back on the road this week. We're playing on Thursday night, are we?
Thursday night, yeah, away to Wexford.
Probably because of the Euros again.
I think it is. I think that's the reason, yeah. Wexford away, it's not the most fun journey to be making on a Thursday night.
No, but in the summer it's not a bad one, though.
Oh, Wexford's a fine spot. Yeah. It's a fine spot.
There's a lovely place to stop there. I mean, down by the JFK Memorial or something there. I stopped there the last time.
I couldn't even tell you where we stopped. I don't know what it's called, but I know where it is because we pass it all the time. That's the kind of way. But last time we were down there, actually, it was with the men's team. Obviously, the girls were at the weekend. But it was a sunny afternoon as well.
Yeah.
That was an early kickoff. I think it was 5 o'clock on a bank holiday Monday. You were there, actually. I saw you down there. Jaden scored early on.
Was it 5 or was it even earlier? I can't remember.
Do you know what? I think it was 3. I think we played them at home at 5.
There was a few others playing at 5, I think.
I think we played them at home at 5, but played them away at 3. A bit all over the place towards the start of the season there. But Jaden scored early on. It was only like a minute or 2 in.
Yeah.
But it ended up as a draw. So it'd be nice to get out of there with 2 more points than that one.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. That's on Thursday, as we said. So this week now again is a bit... Everything happens a day earlier.
Next week then, it's the Cup. But the game has been moved to a Saturday, is it? The game.
No, it's actually the following week. So it's a bit confusing because we have Finn Harps in the league as well.
Oh, that's right. So we have them as normal on the...
Yeah, so we have them on Friday the 12th in the league.
Yes.
We have them on Saturday the 20th in the Cup.
Okay.
And then sandwiched in between that on Wednesday the 17th is Stoke.
Yeah.
So that week has kind of become a bit hectic.
So 3 matches in a week?
3 matches in 7-8 days, yeah. 2 against Finn Harps.
And did I see as well a man who celebrated his birthday put up that we're going to have the black kit, is it, for the...
He did. He's been a busy
is it
boy,
black
isn't
or
he?
Dark grey? What
it's black and dark grey, actually, because
yeah.
it's black with dark grey sponsors and logos and stuff. But Kitman Mick, he was up on the roof on Friday and he had that up on his Instagram shortly after. So yeah, the black kit's finally getting an outing.
Against Stoke.
I kind of panicked a bit. I had to text Mick because he had told me we were wearing black, and obviously follow Stoke on social media to see what's going on because they're coming over, and they announced the other day their new third kit, a blackout third kit. I just thought, oh god, but Mick has spoken to the kit man, so we're definitely wearing the black kit that day. But it'd be good to see that on the pitch. Yeah, it's essentially, I know we launched it a couple of months ago, but we haven't worn it, so people probably haven't seen it in a while, but it's essentially the home kit, bit like a night mode version of the home kit. It's the same, similar template and everything is
but
just
blackout. But is there
blackout.
ever an occasion in the league where we'd have to wear that?
I don't know. we've worn the away a couple of times. I don't know what to be honest now, I haven't actually looked at
specific colours or whatever. Yeah,
I haven't looked at the kick. Do you know what the league actually send on sort of like a chart of what you're wearing against each club? So it's actually the league tell us.
Oh, is it?
Couldn't tell you. I haven't seen that chart now. I don't have to pay much attention to it really. It's more for Mick, but I don't know. I might try and get a look at that actually and find out when or if we're wearing it again. But lovely jersey. It's probably, do you know what? Of our three jerseys, we wore the other two a lot, but I have a real soft spot for that black jersey. I absolutely love it. But I always wanted us to have a blackout jersey, so delighted we'll be wearing it against Stoke. I'm actually missing that game as well, so I'll be watching from afar. But
the friendlies are nice sometimes as well because you get a chance to throw a few other lads in.
That's the thing, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, under 20s, potential new signings as well.
Yeah.
Played Stoke a few years ago actually as well in 2022. Don't even remember how that ended, to be honest. But they brought a good few fans that day. Actually, a lot of that St Anne's end was fairly full of Stoke fans, so I'd imagine they'll have a big travelling support again for this one.
And they will, like the English teams always when they come over, especially the championship type sides and stuff like that, they tend to bring a bit of a crowd with them, don't they?
Yeah, it's just only a short hop over the water, like, so it's a nice weekend away or whatever for the fans of those clubs.
I'd imagine if City were playing over there, the same thing would happen.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can see that it's a lovely thing for them to have, like where they can all come over.
Definitely.
Good for the tourism here as well.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You know, so I'd say the St Anne's end will be fairly busy with them, you know. So, so and we said already that the women are away again this weekend.
Yeah, Peamount on Saturday, away to Peamount. PRL Park.
Yeah.
Difficult place to go. Typically, we've had some not so good results there in the past, but I think the last couple of years matches have been much tighter, and particularly this year. Look, we're having a good season. We played them at the Cross, and there wasn't much to separate us. So I'm looking forward to that one. Actually, there's always a bit of extra bite against Peamount as well. So I'm really looking forward to that
one.
Yeah.
So I hope everyone enjoyed our interview with Jake O'Brien, and we have a nice guest coming up next week as well. So
another big club legend, physically big as well.
We leave someone big anyway.
yeah, we'll see you next week for that one.
But we'll see you next week.